a settlement was found in Iceland, which is mentioned in fairy tales. In 2013, archaeologists studied the Icelandic sea bay Arnarfjordur, on the territory of which, during the Middle Ages, the Vikings supposedly lived. In the course of scientific work, scientists discovered a pile of ash, which clearly remained after the complete combustion of the ancient house. Due to lack of funding, the excavation had to be postponed until 2017, but in the end, the researchers managed to find the remains of a 10th century farm settlement. At the moment, it's known that it consists of a hut, a 23-meter earthen house, 3 small houses, a workshop, and a cowshed. The furnaces installed in the building were larger than usual, so scientists believe that thousands of years ago, the inhabitants of these places were actively engaged in blacksmithing. The most interesting fact is that the life of the people of this region was told in one of the medieval sagas, which bordered on fairy tales. The Viking houses. An unusual place was described in the Ancient Origins edition. In the excavated houses, archaeologists managed to find the remains of large furnaces with cracked stones, and based on the finds, the researchers put forward the theory that the Vikings who lived in the Arnarfjordur Bay were engaged in the extraction of iron and the manufacture of various tools. Unfortunately, the remains of these tools have not yet been found by archaeologists. In the future, they plan to use flying drones to find land plots under which the remains of 1,000-year-old Viking buildings and tools made by them may also be hidden. Everything in that they may manage to find will have to study, of course, the historical sagas, which talk about the life of the Scandinavian peoples in the period from 930 to 1030 AD. The first inhabitants of the Iceland. One of these sagas is Landnámabók, written in the 12th century. Is considered the oldest written source ever discovered, detailing the early days of Iceland. This historical work will give us a list of the first inhabitants of Iceland. There are about 3,000 names and about 1,400 place names. According to Landnámabók, one of the first settlers of the place, called Svinadalur, was a certain Eyvindur Akula. In 1300 AD, the ruler of these lands was Bjarnason Okilingur. The places described in this saga have many similarities with the aforementioned Arnarfjordur Bay, and most likely this work tells about local residents. About the Scandinavian monsters. But if this work tells about real people and events, then where does the fairy tale come in? The fact that this historical work also deals with sea monsters that were seen in Icelandic waters. It's noteworthy that not only the people who first settled in Iceland in 874 AD believed in mythical creatures. Our contemporaries allegedly see them from time to time. According to Ancient Origins, about 4,000 sightings of sea and lake monsters have been recorded in Iceland over the past 100 years. 4,000 sightings. Moreover, about 180 monsters were met in the Arnarfjordur Bay. And rumor has it that some people have been able to see huge monsters like the Loch Ness Monster, whose existence has recently been again talked about. From Scotland, the Loch Ness is of course in Scotland. Most likely, all of these messages are used to attract the attention of tourists. In the Icelandic village of Bíldudalur, which is just located on the coast of Arnarfjordur Bay, in early 2010, even the Sea Monster Museum was opened. All the exhibits presented in that institution tell about monsters from Scandinavian legends. In addition to viewing the exhibits, visitors can also listen to stories from fishermen. In general, Iceland is famous for its mystical component, and tourists can learn a lot about magic, monsters, and other evil spirits. The excavation of Arnarfjordur Bay should ultimately help historians to separate fiction from fact in historic documents. And this is on Solask. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.